Sexy Red's a unicorn. Glorilla's a unicorn.
What unicorn is that?
Huh?
What unicorn?
You don't think Sexy Red's a unicorn?
Well, when you say unicorn, how are you defining the word unicorn?
A very special person. She's a superhero. She's a rap superhero. I don't think Sexy Red's a rap superhero.
So you're just going by popularity.
No, I'm going by I really been around her and seen what type of superhero.
I get it that we want to support everybody, and you can't knock the hustle. We learned that in the basics.
But that's not supporting everybody. How many other female artists do we support?
At what level do we have responsibility as black people to have better messaging than the shit that we've been conditioned
Now, if you
to?
coming from that angle, then yeah, you can do that angle. But if we coming from the angle of rap, I'm no different than Sexy Red. So you sitting up here and saying I should have had a better message in my rap music.
At some point in time, we got to hold ourselves accountable, and we got to hold our culture accountable.
Okay.
A lot of this shit is embarrassing. And it's embarrassing because you're looking at it from a standpoint of like, it's okay not to be a perfect person.
When this girl finds out the power that she has, in one moment she could change black girls' lives.
It's not going to happen, though, Jim. You know that.
Why not?
Because, like I said,
what you just said about me, my aggressive exterior is what people always see.
Yeah.
When I came up, you wouldn't think I'd be here having a podcast doing this with y'all, right? Everybody comes to a moment in life, a realization of what they're doing.
Yeah.
My story went from really gang banging to helping that same trajectory to change it.
The problem with that scenario is that you have a legion of people who are not going to grow and have maturation at the same rate that you are. I compare it to like a Lady Gaga. When you remember when she came out, it was all gothic and it was all dark. And then one day she decided, nah, I'm not that anymore. And her fans were like, but that's what we know you for, right? They don't grow with you at the same rate. So if you're doing that and that's your messaging throughout your career and you have that moment, your fans may not have that moment.
She has hella influences on all these little girls, you heard? At some point, these little girls grow up too, you heard?
Yeah.
And if they are a fan of you, they're going to follow in suit. The same way kids were a fan of me from gangbanging to see me changing my lives in so many different ways by the hustle I put in front of me. More people respect me for hustling now than they do for gangbanging.
What group of people in America, race-wise, has the lowest income?
Black people, you would say?
Okay.
Minority, yeah.
Black people. Who has the lowest net worth?
It would be black people.
Who has the lowest life expectancy?
It would be black people.
Who has the highest incarceration rate?
It would be black people.
Okay. So at some point in time, if we're losing on every statistical category, we got to start to make radical changes. Hip hop has been around for 50 years and it has done good, but it's done a lot of harm too. We got to be honest. And the problem, I think, is that we keep turning a blind eye. But this shit is influential and it's influencing people and it's not helping. Because if it was helping, we wouldn't be at the lowest of every single statistical category possible. So as an intelligent person, sometimes people of the culture, from the culture, can just have honest conversations. Like, look, we got to clean this shit up a little bit.
Do we blame all of this years of us being treated on female rappers?
No.
It's a bigger
problem. It's a bigger problem.
Yes, Jim Jones, you should have had better messaging in your music. Yes, you should have. And they trying to have a nice conversation, but we don't have to be nice. We can be real over here. So that's what we're going to do. Welcome to Breakdown Friday. Joseph Ward, Patrick Irvin, Professor Carl Tone Jones. I was scrolling through Instagram the other day and I ran across this clip and I thought it was a very interesting clip. Jim Jones having a conversation with the gentleman from Earn Your Leisure. I appreciate the pushback from the gentleman, the Earn Your Leisure gentleman, because talking about having real, honest conversations about the impact of our cultural expressions, which leads to us talking about cultural responsibility. Like, what is our cultural responsibility? Do we even have a cultural responsibility? And if we do, how do we go about employing that? How do we go about making sure that we can stamp our cultural responsibility on our people? Because we're talking about the impact that it had. And so that conversation centered around specifically Sexy Red. He mentioned Glorilla, but it was specifically Sexy Red and the impact that someone like her has on the culture, specifically the young people. And I think it's going to be a fun conversation for us because there's a lot of stuff that we can break down, that we're going to really break down and get into, especially talking about the expectation of the maturation of a group over time. I think hip hop has been around long enough, and I think the three of us have lived long enough to be able to see what the impact of one person can have on its followers. And even if that person changes their trajectory, that doesn't mean that the followers will change their trajectory. And we have proof of that. And we can look at the fallout within our community. So this is what we're getting into. So put your thinking caps on, get your snacks, get your notes and everything, because it's a good conversation I think that we're gonna have with this. And I'm gonna start this off. I'm started off with PC, man. I think I started with Pat last week, so I'm starting with PC. What are your first of all, before we get to the cultural responsibility part of the conversation, what are your thoughts about their conversation and you being the man you are in the position you are in life, and especially the impact that you've been able to have on your community when you hear that conversation, especially what Jim Jones is saying? What are your thoughts?
I don't think Jim Jones is mature enough to have that conversation. And that's not taking a slight at the brother.
No, but I'm laughing because I thought the same. That was one of my first thoughts.
Yeah, because they're trying to talk about things that have real cultural impact, and he's sort of like talking about what's hip and all this other stuff. And then when they corner him, he keeps moving the goalposts. Well, what about this? Are we just going to say it's all this or this and the other? That's somebody that's not really ready to be accountable. And he threw his own hat into the ring because he didn't have to mention him. And they're better than me because I'm like, yeah, you need to change the message of your music.
Yes.
You know, you got all these young people out here wanting to be old YNs. You know, you need to change the message of your music too, because it has an impact. And the one thing I think they brought up was, and I think this is true, the way you start off typically in the business is how you have to end. Because even when people switch up and determine that they're not going to do this type of music anymore, there's very few fans that will follow them in terms of when they change their trajectory, specifically because there are more Jim Joneses out here that can just feed that crowd, feed their desires, feed their listening interest. And we already talked about before, ninja culture is the acceptable culture in our community, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the culture for which you don't have to have any standards. Jim Jones just proved it. He's calling Sexy Red and Glorilla unicorn.
Superheroes.
But there's nothing different about them than the women they rapping to. So unicorns are mythical beasts and creatures that they're so rarely been cited that the mere mention of them is the fact that people think you're discussing something that's a myth, right? Something that you can't believe. You saw a unicorn? Come on, man. That was a donkey with a branch on his head.
That's why they questioned him like that. When he said unicorn, they were going off the literal definition of unicorn. They weren't going off of his definition.
And then they transformed from unicorns to superheroes. Like, what are they, X-Men? Like, you know, we got to stop having these conversations. Like, you can't have a serious conversation with people who don't have the ability to be serious. And I think hopefully this is a learning lesson for them, like a teachable lesson for them. But it goes to show that you just because somebody is famous or just because somebody has a name does not necessarily mean you can have a conversation with them and it's going to be fruitful. Because a lot of people are going to look at that conversation. They're going to look at it through a biased lens. Those who want to believe, those fans of Jim Jones, and like I said, there ain't no shade towards him, but it's just what it is. Those fans of Jim Jones, every time he, moves the goalpost, they're going to be right there with him because they need for him to win that argument. They need for him to win that point of view because it justifies the way they live. It justifies their preferred form of entertainment. So when you say, hey, and Factually speaking, the brother was off a little bit by, when he started running down the economic and the statistics and stuff like that. Black people ain't at the bottom of all those. But I get what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
Black people, we need to get our shit together.
Yeah.
And we need to be more like we claim hip hop is ours. We just celebrated the birth of hip hop last 50 years of hip hop last year. Well, if it's ours, let's do something about the genre that promotes proliferation. So not the damp culture, not the I'll snuffer, culture, not the everybody culture, not that I can get your girl culture, not look at me, I'm shining on you culture. No, if we really want to change the culture, if we really are in charge of the culture, then we have the power to change it. And that's what the brothers was trying to say. And if I'm really reading correctly. And it's our responsibility to do so. But the problem is the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules.
Yep.
You know the funny thing about like when I watch stuff like that, I think about how my channel got canceled before because I was talking pro-black conversation. I was having pro-black conversations. I think about how your channel gets shadow banned. And then I think about all the different videos of like King Von, where he's telling a crazy story about killing other black people. None of those stories get banned. They get millions and millions of views.
Yep.
I look at all the conversations, the Twitter conversations or Clubhouse conversations that make it to YouTube. You can nigga, all the verbiage. As long as it's destructive for black people, it will continue to be promoted on platforms that do not care about the proliferation of black people. And as black people, we have an obligation and responsibility for the proliferation of our community. Whether or not we accept it is another story. What they were saying to Jim Jones is, brother, we have a responsibility. We can't just keep falling back on something because we think it's live or something because we like the vibe or this, that, and the other. No, we have to look at the real consequences. We have to do a deeper dive in terms of the effects that this has on the community at large. And I would have, since he made it personal, I would have made it even more personal. Jimmy, your raps, you talk about the gang shit. What if your children become victims of the gang shit? Do you still want to promote this type of, will you be promoting this music at their funerals? At their memorials? Would you want people to you feel me? Like because I think there's a certain way you get to people like that. Now, knowing Jim Jones, he was spazzed out. But if you pull him in the studio, you want to have that conversation, you got to be willing to have that conversation. And with that, I land my plane.
Now, we got a lot of growing up to do, black folk. I mean, really, that's one of the first thoughts that I had in my mind when I was listening to this conversation is we definitely have a lot of maturing to do as a people and as adults if this is the conversation we're having. Because basically, Jim Jones is defending himself, his success, and things that was able to make him successful to get him where he is. And he has a viewpoint of Sexy Red that is positive because of his interactions and all those things. And that's cool. But as an adult, I can separate my interactions from how you interact with people as a whole. So yes, me and you, we never had no strife, none of these things here. You was always good to me, cordial to me, you cool, but I see how you treat the world. I see your impact on the world. I see what happens out there. And just because our relationship ain't never had no strife don't mean that you cool. Just because you've been nice to me, that don't mean you cool because you're not nice to everybody else. You're not making a great impact for everybody else. You're a detriment to everybody else, and eventually you're going to be a detriment to me. And so that's the difference between looking at somebody through like rose-colored glasses and looking at them through a lens of truth. Because go ahead.
Take one step further. Suppose instead of the lip gloss, one of his daughters come home with the description of those lip gloss of the Sexy Red brand of lip gloss with all the STDs. Suppose they come on with the actual STDs on their mouth.
Right.
Is that something we're going to be promoting? We still calling her unicorn there? Is she a superhero? What's her superpower?
But he's not even going to connect the two.
Yeah, I know.
He's not even going to connect the two. So he's not going to have a problem with it. But that's the thing though. Like we don't know. A lot of people don't know how to separate feelings from fact. And because they can't separate feelings from fact, they get lost in the sauce. Yes, y'all relationship was cordial, but they're still an asshole. They're still a bad person. And their influence is still detrimental. So, Pat, what are your thoughts about that conversation?
I do applaud, and this is a rare moment, but I do applaud them attempting to hold Jim Jones accountable. And I definitely applaud them attempting to steer the conversation, not allow him to abduct the conversation and take it somewhere where it didn't go. Because Jim Jones turned on the left turn signal, in the words of the great philosopher PC. And they turned it right back off. So I can appreciate that. I think this whole idea about fans, people aren't fans of the people themselves. You know, they're fans of the ideas, the concept, the representation, what they represent, which is why the moment Lizzo lost weight, her fans turned on her.
I was gonna get to that, but I'm glad you brought it up.
The moment these celebrities get out of their lane, their fans turn on them because they're not a fan of the person, they're a fan of what they represent. So I get what Jim Jones was saying, and with regards to he feels like he was a rags to riches story, and Sexy Red and Glorilla are rags to riches stories. It's a very simple way of looking at things.
It's also a question to ask. Well, for those particular artists too, why? And I'm gonna come back and ask that and tell you why I thought that later. But why are those particular people rags to riches stories as well?
Right, and I do think that plays. That's another angle on the conversation. I agree with what they were saying when they said eventually people do have to roll back around to where they started. Of course you do, because what got you on was what you represented. And unless you find a way to shift with your fan base as they're growing and maturing and all these other things, you gain opportunities to shift into a different lane that's in alignment with their maturation, then you can change that way. But it's a reason why even the child actors, all of the Disney actors struggle with making the jump to adulthood. Because as child actors, they're viewed, they represent a certain thing, and we don't believe them when they come on the screen as anything other than that. But obviously they can't do that for the rest of their career because now they look grown and rusty and nobody believes that they're a kid no more. So
Eddie Winslow. We don't even remember. His name is Darius McCray. But his name is Eddie Winslow. And not only has the industry typecast him, but we have too. He had never outlived. Nobody from that show will outlive their characters.
Oh, absolutely not. Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
Steve Urkel.
No matter what he does.
Has been trying to run away from Steve Urkel for the last, 20 years, 30 years?
That's what Jim Jones is missing. Like when you acculturate a people for a specific time to go a specific way, they're not just gonna make that abrupt change. They're not in the environment you in. You are in a better environment for change. They're not.
Jim Jones hasn't changed, and that's the one thing I would say about them. They're trying to give him all this credit for being mature. No. Jim Jones is the same dude that admitted that he was just trying to get clout when he said he was better than Nas.
Yeah.
Like, this is the dude that we know will say and do anything to stay relevant. I'm not saying anything isn't literally anything, because I do think Jim Jones has his limits. But as far as what he'll say anything to stay relevant. So I would argue that he hasn't matured enough, at least, to have this conversation. Because even to make the statement he made of, well, those women, like, they could get it, they could change an entire generation. Okay, how does that take away from the generation that they changing now? Go ahead, PC.
No, I mean, because then you look at, there's no track record of that.
Right.
There's no
Right.
like when Beyonce came out and became more risque. Britney Spears became more risque. All
They
these
lean in.
Yeah, that's what the attention. They follow they are influenced. They're supposed to be the influencers, but they are influenced by whatever they believe made them popular or deem or the trends.
And to stay there.
Yeah. So
I mean,
go ahead, Pat.
we had this conversation about Cardi B at this place I used to work at. And they was like, I believe Cardi B is a nice, good, wholesome woman when she's in a relationship. When she's not in a relationship, she ratchet as all get out. I said, well, why do you think that? And it's like, well, there's no real evidence or indication of her cheating on Offset or doing anything foul when she's in a relationship. I said, okay.
What?
So what would happen if it came out that she is foul in relationships? What do you think? Would that impact your opinion of her? And this person was at least genuine enough to say, yeah, I don't know. I would probably still listen to her music, but I don't know that I would like her as much anymore. And what I'm getting at with that is, in this person's mind, and this has been verified hundreds of times through conversations with various people and through real world observations and events. But in this person's mind, Cardi B's relevance and her status was related to her alignment with their view of who she was as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Sexy Red is basically accepted the role of being one of the worst female influences in hip hop history.
10 toes down. I'm standing in it, and that's what makes women love her.
Right. And you listen to them talk about it. They say, I love that she don't care. So what happens when she starts caring? All of those people that love her for not caring are going to not love her anymore.
But would you love if your daughter didn't care?
They would, as long as their daughter didn't have negative consequences for not
Well,
caring.
no, well, your daughter's not going to care, but your daughter's not famous in Sexy Red, and she's not in that realm, nowhere near that realm. So she's in real life subjected to real life consequences.
But here's where the rags to riches story comes in. They all believed that they could be her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I'm with you, because it's the same thing. Is all the young men, young boys. I'm not going to use YN. All the young dudes who want to be like Jim Jones, because Jim Jones to them is attainable, but he's not attainable. But he's attainable because, I mean, look at him. He walked like them. He talked like them. He dressed like them. Although he reminds them of themselves. So why isn't he attainable, even though he's unattainable?
Right. And that's a perspective shift that needs to happen too, because if you're a young dude in your 20s and 30s, a 50-year-old man should not be looking and sounding like you.
Mm-hmm. What did Muhammad Ali say? If you're doing the same thing at 40 that you were doing at 20, you just wasted 20 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and and yeah, I could see, you know, and I don't even think. And the bad part is maybe Jim Jones knows it, maybe he don't, but he's a gimmick, and because of that, he's being utilized for the characterization of what he represents. That's his wallet.
bruh.
But just like they're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you. They just paying you to be
Bruh.
laughing. It's like you the dude that's in the dunking chamber and they throwing balls and trying to smack you up with tomatoes and shit. You get paid at the end of the night, but you also nobody takes you seriously.
Man. It's funny you said that the way you said it. So I'm pulling into my driveway, coming home from lunch today, and I'm it's a TikTok video playing, and it's Kodak Black, and Kodak Black is talking and all those things. That and what you were saying was my thought. My first thought was, I wonder why they. At first, I was saying, I wonder why they chose him. Then I realized who it was. Okay, that's why they chose him. But they choose specific people from specific places in life with specific mindsets to elevate them, and these are people who have no cultural responsibility, and if they did have it, it was brought out by the people who were handling them, and so they literally are signing up to be destructive to the culture and help damage the culture and damage the psyche and be a bad influence on the listeners, the black people specifically, because we're the ones that the culture really affects, because we call it the culture. White people just see it as entertainment. It's culture to us. And
Well,
so
no,
this is, go ahead.
it's not just entertainment to the social engineers and the spiritual engineers. It's not entertainment.
No, I'm talking about to the white consumers, the little boys and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but not the handlers, not the puppet masters, but like the little boys who go out. What it was? What's that movie? The Malibu's Most Wanted. Them type of yeah. But no, it's entertainment to them, but it's culture to us. It's how we live, and it's negatively impacted. And once again, cultural responsibility is not there. And now, and my wonder for not even the artist, but the consumers of the art. How many people think about cultural responsibility when they're going out and consuming what they're consuming, and even not even just consuming the art, but engaging in the behaviors and the activity that we engage in, whether you influenced by the art or you influenced by the streets.
Man, listen, like 30 years ago in Philly, when we used to have the Greek picnic, right? And the Greek picnic was around longer than the Freaknik. In fact, I think the Freaknik in Atlanta was sort of like the spawn or the answer to the Greek picnic at one point, because the Greek picnic was when
it was before Freaknik.
Yeah, the Greek picnic was going on a lot longer than the Freaknik, and it just started getting raunchy after a while, and it started getting wild. But before that, what happened with the picnic, it would take over the whole city. So they would have it in the park, in the plateau. They used to have it in the plateau part of Fairmount Park in Philly. But then it was, be all up and down Broad Street. Now, one year, me and my homies was, like I said, it's 30 years ago. We driving down the street, and we bumping. Now, we in my neighborhood. My neighborhood is Erie Ave. When we got to my neighborhood, we started bumping major figures, Gilly, Ab Lava, everybody from down the way. And immediately, when we started bumping major figures, the whole vibe by every group we passed changed. It wasn't no celebration, but it's just like that's what because it was music that they thought represented them. You're talking about the same neighborhood, the same block they live on. A lot of people relate to the music because they lived through that. Now, imagine if, let's just say now, Gilly, we're talking 30 years later. Imagine Gilly out there saying the same crazy shit now that he was saying back then. And I'm not saying, I'm talking about putting it in music about this, that, and the other. He don't even live that life no more. And I don't know what, I'm not going to get into whatever he was doing back then, but it definitely is not. It's relatable. It's like it would be like more so Ice Cube talking about, you know, being a menace to society. Ice Cube is in family movies now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the impact, and he understands his impact. He couldn't even, like on tour, he'll do the old school tours, but he can't even relate to that shit no more. That's how you see the evolution of people. But ain't nobody talking about Ice Cube being their favorite rapper 30 years later, 40 years later. No, well,
I'm literally like the only one, but yeah.
Yeah, you are.
But I'm saying, for those people who don't know, there was a time when he was considered the best rapper. There was a time when he was considered when America's Most Wanted came out back in 1992. He was considered the best rapper on the planet. They was talking about him, then KRS-One, then Rakim, then all the other rappers that they were putting in the top 5.
He was with him too.
Oh no! Listen, no. Cube was fire, and Cube was conscious too, though. A lot of people don't know that. America's Most Wanted was one of the most conscious albums out. But bringing it up to say, like when we start talking about the impact that the music has on you, Cube was heavily influenced by Public Enemy, Chuck D. Cube came to New York City after their first NWA tour.
Yeah, with the Bomb Squad, right?
Worked with the Bomb Squad. Chuck D put him on with the Bomb Squad, but he was heavily influenced. Chuck D, Cube, and Big Daddy Kane put out a video of a song "Burn Hollywood Burn." That's what we're talking about. Like when we talk about you want to take an image and you want to sort of revolutionize it, then that's kind of like what you would need to do.
So let me. I heard somebody say this, and I have to go back and check it because I listened to NWA, but I was legit, so I wasn't really taking it in. Because speaking along the lines of what you're talking about, did NWA make songs about, from what you remember, did they make songs about banging on other black people, or was they songs more about banging on the police and stuff like that? Because I heard a guy talking about you can't go find an NWA song where they're talking about, you know, banging on black folk. They were talking about banging on the system. So,
you surely can find NWA songs.
And so, and I was like, you know, I haven't listened to him in a while, but I was like, so I need to go back and listen to verify that. So I don't know. But I was like, let me ask. I don't know.
Oh, that's cat, man. That's
okay.
Cat.
Okay, I don't want to add.
I don't know that.
Nah, but anyway, though, but
revisionist history like a mother sucker.
Yeah, I don't know, but along that lines, though, like you're saying, the artists, the rappers, especially since we're talking about rappers and artists in this hip hop culture, the ones who are, think about it, the ones who are conscious, positive, got good messages and stuff, and got good music, they still not push. Why is Sexy Red? Because he's talking about Sexy Red, but he ain't talking about Rhapsody. Rhapsody has great messaging for young ladies. That's why Rhapsody ain't as popular as these other women, because she actually has positive messaging for the ladies, and she cover herself up. But guess what? Those same artists like Jim Jones and them, they don't ride for her the same way they ride for the Sexy Reds. Lack of cultural responsibility, but also the ignorance in them, because they will get behind to promote the ignorance and the debauchery more than they will the positivity.
Because like PC said earlier, and I agree with it wholeheartedly, they're not influencers, they are influenced. They get behind, it's not like they found Sexy Red and decided to get behind her.
Right.
Sexy Red popped and then they all showed up. Now we can have a conversation about whether or not she a plan and all that other stuff. But the fact of the matter is she came up now, and Glorilla is another one. Like, and I don't believe Glorilla is an industry plant. I believe she made that song FREE and it resonated with women all over America.
Well, all Glorilla exposed. Go ahead.
There was a bunch of them at that time. Was the ones that was twerking on the 6-year-old in the video? Sukiyana. There was a bunch of them that came out.
She tried to make her version of that.
Yeah, Glorilla was just the one that stuck.
Glorilla exposed she brought out a lot of the ratchetness in the women that they support that we already knew was there, but it just helped bring it out a lot more because you go into these corporate offices and these corporate or these women who's supposed to be so far away from the streets, they're like they're literally looking up to Glorilla.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
No, go.
I was gonna say it goes back to what PC. It's funny that you brought up Freaknik. Because
because all the women who tried to have it suppressed because they was in there with their coochie.
Right. So we know all of them corporate women
I was trying to find
having a fit because they thought they was gonna be exposed in somebody footage in that documentary. So again,
it's a lot of
the spirit of whoredom is alive.
Yeah, and so I'm like, no, like, so it's like it makes sense, but so this is where for me, hip hop and all of it loses its authenticity, if you will, because we've had these discussions before. To me, hip hop is party music. That's what it is. It is music for the lowest common. It's music for the base. Anytime you get a group of young black people together, it's been proven. Without forces that are going to force them to stay straight, they're going to go low. It's going to get nasty. It's going to get obscene, and it's going to get there quickly. And I'm not even knocking young people for that. But what I'm saying is hip hop is also the music aspect of it anyways. Is also heavily designed for young consumption.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're at that most influential ages at that particular time. It's the best time to help form and shape their realities. And and like you said, it's listen, when Jay-Z first came out, his name wasn't Jay-Z.
Nope.
Right. Because I remember on that Hawaiian Sophie song, I think his name was Sean. when Jazzo called and when he did the cameo was on that song, and they were all riding the coattails of Will Smith, and at that point with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince with the clean rap and all that other stuff.
Parents don't understand.
Parents don't understand. Girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble. Rock the house. Like we knew Will Smith here, so. But that was because that was the one they were starting to win Emmys and Grammys and stuff like that. That's where they trended. Then you started having the hardcore stuff, and like shoot, Jay-Z changed his style like 4 times before he became Jigga. You got that 7-minute freestyle where Big L showed him who was the top rapper lyricist in New York.
Yeah, he was rapping fast. Yeah.
That was Jay-Z back then.
And the Dope Man took off though.
You know what I'm saying? But
Hard Not Life.
Well, even like as much as I love Nas, I'm a Nas fan, but Nas just dropped this latest project with DJ Clue. I mean with DJ Premier. And a lot of the backlash that they're getting is people don't like the album, and they don't like the album because the beats and all that stuff. But it's a grown-up album. This is the album that Nas put out because Nas just wanted to make some music. Him and DJ Premier got together, made some music that they wanted to make, and it's an album for grown-ups. It's a good album that you put on Sunday when you're cleaning up and you're chilling. It's a grown-up album, but because it's not full of the debauchery and stuff, people can't gravitate towards it.
It's interesting. It's wonderful that you bring up Nas because he's a poster child for when Nas does what Nas wants to do, it never works out. His albums always flop when he do what he want to do, and he always got to go back to doing the formula.
So what does that say about? Especially the grown men, the consumers, the grown men who consume, because these last 5 projects that he just did with the young producer.
Go ahead, Pat.
I was gonna say, like, you think about the Godson episode.
The double album he put
That's
out,
some of the worst
the
albums
untitled
ever
album.
made.
Well,
You think about his Escobar phase, where he leaned into it a little bit too much.
Yeah, Uchi Wally. Yeah, but people
I
loved Uchi Wally.
Chi bang bang. Listen, we make the mistake, and this is a consumer mistake. Black men are probably the worst people to have a market based on.
Oh, absolutely.
Men don't buy shit.
Absolutely.
Black men don't buy a damn thing. If they can bootleg it, copy it, whatever. And brothers, y'all can get mad at me all y'all want. I've had several businesses and entrepreneurial experiences where 90% of my consumers were Black women. So don't tell me about, and I listen, nobody more pro Black man than me. I'm telling y'all, Black men, you base your market on what black men be like, yo, that joint's popping, yeah. And then you have it, and he be like, yeah, yo, well, if we all buy a copy of it, well, dude, let me hold your joint real quick. Let me hold your copy. And next thing you know, you never get your shit back, but they won't buy it. You have to continuously buy it. That's why, so marketability, you can never impart, you can, like Joe said, brothers will listen to Nas's, but they won't show up in the box sales. Like the box office sale, or it won't show up on the charts because they're not going to pay for it.
Yeah, but
good.
But as a culture, we have to be honest and say that we don't take kindly to positivity like we used to.
No,
like we don't like positivity like we used to. We reject positivity as a culture.
We do. We like drama. Look at what people will show. Look at what people will repost. Look what people will share. Look at the stuff that goes viral. You'll rarely find acts of kindness or acts that shows good character going viral anywhere. And first of all, it's Western society. Ain't just Black people. But like what Malcolm said, when white people catch the cold, we catch pneumonia. We just exemplify it more, but and there was, and it's funny because we keep sort of like recycling some of these old stories because it's all relevant. I recall a Double XL article where they interviewed what's the brother from Atlanta, T.I.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And when he just came home from jail, he went to Atlantic Records and said, yo, I want to do family-friendly music. I don't live that street gutter life no more. I don't want to rap about guns and chasing women. And they told him, yo, that's your market. That's the only music we're going to pay you to do. Next thing you know, he brought in that Iggy Azalea or whatever the chick name is from Australia. And she became sort of, his little sidekick for pushing them back into that gangster genre and so forth.
Now,
he who has the gold makes the rules.
Now, I'm about to pull. I'm a stout fan of T.I.'s rap, especially the first 5-6 albums. Like down here.
He was definitely the king of the South,
bruh. T.I. was that dude 2-3 years before we even knew what he looked like.
Yeah.
I remember my first time listening to T.I. in the back of my homeboy Doc Love, because Doc put me on a lot of music. In the back of his car, going home from football practice, he put on that Hotel song off the T.I. first album, and it was him and Too Short, and I was like, "What is this?" Then I start, but so okay, that was T.I.'s first album. I'm Serious. T.I. was on, I think, LaFace. One of them.
I know he ended up on like Def Jam South or something like that.
Now, but how did he get there? Because I'm pulling T.I. card on that. Because how did he get there? What did T.I. do between I'm Serious and trap music that kept him going? Right. So T.I. dropped 3 mixtapes. In the Streets, volumes 1 through 1, 2, 3. That's when we first heard 24s. A lot of the songs that Dope Boy Fresh, Dope Boy, all that. He dropped mixtapes. T.I., why didn't you drop family-friendly mixtapes?
Well, at that time, he was still getting it. But and I'm not.
But I'm talking about the free mixtapes are free. Drop the free music in the streets like you did.
But he was building.
It's still marketing.
Yeah.
I'm just now. I hear, but I'm just saying he had an alternative that he could have done, but you know,
Nah, he couldn't have done that.
and so he's not the king.
Well, listen,
he wasn't then. Go ahead.
And I'm not.
I'm just and trust me, I'm being funny, but I'm making a point, but I'm being funny too. But
I just like it that Joe checking somebody in the South for a change.
Hey man, look here, man. We can go all day on these Southern cats, man. Look here, let's go, let's line them up because we be
for the record. I'm a huge T.I. fan as well. I thought I'm Serious was a classic album.
Yes.
Before I knew what T.I. looked like. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Go ahead, PC.
T.I., listen, in terms of like discography and all that stuff, I don't have a problem with a lot of the music that was made prior to the whole gangster rap era, right? Because a lot of it was just telling the story about how people actually lived. And it was like and the majority of it was like the news. Listen, we could talk about all we want about how negative NWA was. I had no idea about gang culture until I listened to NWA. And I had been listening to Ice-T like 5-6 years before they started talking. So I didn't learn it. And the irony is they had to be taught how to do gangster rap from a Philly rapper by the name of Schoolie D.
Yep.
Schoolie D was flown out there to teach them how to do gangster rap. So they were what you would call studio gangsters, you know what I'm saying, in regards to that part, but they did portray a story. F the police. Yo, you know how often I got kidnapped by the cops when I was a teenager. I could relate to that song. You know, Gangster, Gangster. Listen, I've had dudes roll up on me with guns. When I was young, everybody did if you had to walk 2 blocks in my neighborhood. So it wasn't like they were promoting a lifestyle. They were describing a lifestyle. Now, the shit that happened after that was different. Because one thing NWA never did, NWA never talked about flags. They never talked about which gangs they represented. They never talked about their block. They kept it basic. They just told you a narrative. So if I'm over here learning about life on the West Coast, had I not listened to that music, you can wander in one of those neighborhoods and get knocked off if you just happen to go over there.
I ain't learned about the Crips and Bloods till Snoop and them came out.
Listen, my first trip to the West Coast, probably my only trip because I need to go back. I need to go. But I went to Vegas, right? I had to read up on the West Coast culture. So I read it was the death of something, Death Row. I read that book that talked about Tupac and Death Row and all the stuff that was happening. So, and I also read Monster Cody Scott. I read those while I was on the air. I read both of those while I was on the airplane going to Las Vegas. And it taught me a lot about the culture. How did that save me? One time in the arcade out there, I was walking around with my lady, and there were like 40 dudes wearing purple shirts following us around the arcade. They were part of the Mexican gang, like Grape Street gang out there. Now, had I not known that, I wouldn't have known what the hell was going on. But being able to identify that, of reading it, but that was also like an extension of the music. Like Monster Cody Scott couldn't have wrote that book if we didn't hear the rap first. Nobody would have cared about Cody Scott in his book. What we got going on right now, what we got going on right now is the proliferation of something, not the proliferation, but it's the projection of where they want the culture to go. So if I got these cats out here, you know, and I want to promote drill rap, well, what am I going to do? Hey, listen, young brothers from Chicago, y'all going to make some hit records. I'm going to give y'all a $6 million contract, and it's going to influence everybody else to follow in your footsteps. Now, what does that? What is that? So what does that do? That spread like wildfire. We didn't have gangs in Philly before Chief Keef. We had neighborhood crews. We didn't have gangs.
You just reminded me. I thought Plies was such a cancer to Florida, to hip hop, to music. I thought Plies was one of the worst, and I still do, because the just what he was talking about, and especially when we found out that you was an A student in college, and then you decided to rap your brother's life.
Not only rap his brother's life, but then pretend to be illiterate.
Right.
Like he
I
dumbed
thought
down his music.
still to this day, like I hated Plies' character. Still to this day, I think it's one of the most destructive characters to ever come through hip hop. But the dudes love him, the little hood dudes love him, and the ladies love him because he's funny.
What it's the Plaza is a character, and they like the character.
Charles
So I
Knight.
was just talking to a young lady about that, because she's like, I love me some Plies. And what you like about him? And she went on to describe his character. You know, and then when I exposed to her that this was in fact the character, after she pushed back a little bit, you could see it in her eyes. She's like, damn.
Mhm.
I bet if I talked to her right now, she would say she don't really like Plies no more. But I think the challenge we have here is when narrating and reporting turns into glorification.
Mhm.
And I think that's the ongoing challenge. Back in the days, I do agree that there was people talking about their lifestyle. And I think a lot of that was just because they didn't know that they could get rich and famous doing this. They was doing it as an outlet.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, even sports. Y'all talk about sports all the time. The previous generations of athletes weren't playing football and basketball to become millionaires.
They're playing it because they want to.
They was playing because they loved the game. What happened now is everybody know you can make money doing this. So now everybody is trying to make, and I think that's the same thing you say in music. Back in the day, these guys music was literally therapy for them. They were pinning down, even if it wasn't their life, it was something they saw, something they witnessed, something that somebody they knew went through. It was something personal, and they were just getting it out. And they were excited by the fact that other people could relate to it. Nowadays, it's a formula.
Yep.
So now you got a bunch, just like nowadays in the NBA, you got a bunch of kids. These kids grew up, their daddies played sports, they got the blueprint. They not hungry no more. That's why you offer them $50 million, and they like, that's not enough for me to play basketball.
Man.
It's the same with the music. You offering these people things to be legitimate, but it's like I don't want to be my authentic self. I got to be this so that I can maximize profit. And we living in a world of min-maxing. So I think now we have this situation where what once was reporting in a way to get it off has turned into glorification. And yeah, we could blame it on the white man in the industry, but I'm blaming it on you niggas.
Yes.
Keep supporting it.
No. Yes. No. You're correct. This is us scolding us, because white folk on white folk, but we can be better. But what you so it's interesting you talking about the music being therapy as well as it being something that is telling a story, because I've seen the two. Well, not necessarily. No, you didn't say telling a story. It's therapy, then they're trying to make money. I've seen the two collide. I've seen the two mixed. So it's therapy, but I know I can do this to get rich and buy my mama a house. So I'm going to talk about things that I may have seen, I may have been adjacent to, or other people that I know, or I listen to enough gangster rap music or whatever rap music so I can do that. So in one sense, it is therapy because my A scores is 8 out of 10. So it is therapy for me to do that. But I also want to be this person that I'm writing so I can get rich and buy my mama a house.
I'm not sure they want to buy their mother a house anymore.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I'm not. Maybe the athletes, but these rappers ain't really. A lot of these cats never, like, they see money but they don't see enough money to get them out of their situation.
Right.
And they dive deeper. Another Florida rapper that just lost his life last June.
Left from Jacksonville.
Yeah, one of the kids from Julio. When they were talking about him, this dude, they have to, you live in a situation where you like worldwide, people know who you are, but you don't have enough money to move away from where you from in order to even live a day where you don't have to carry your firearm to put the trash out. You know what I'm saying? And they dig deeper into it because that's the drug that they get hooked on. And I'm not excusing a lot of it because I know that, you know what I'm saying, and I'm really just explaining. So I'm not sort of like just like giving it a pass because y'all know, and we've had conversations off the air and even on the air. Man, I would watch those videos and literally go lock myself in the bathroom and break down crying because of how many young brothers, how many members of our generation, of that generation are no longer here. Like we've literally lost quarter to a third of a generation because of that, of young brothers. Because look at how many of these rappers right now are out. Look how many are no longer here. And so when I hear Jim Jones try to like poo-poo it, it takes me to a conversation I saw on at the barbershop. They have
with Math Hoffa?
Math Hoffa, where people were actually challenging the day's rap. And you had people in there say, well, what's the difference between when they did and when we did? The difference is back then, when a rapper got killed, it was headline news. You could probably count on one hand how many rappers got murdered in the 90s.
It was rare. It was very rare.
Now you hear it. When I heard that, it was like 5 years ago. And they said, since such and such, over 400 rappers have been killed. I said, hold the what? Whoa, where? Like, who are these dudes? I don't even know who they are.
I didn't know we had that many rappers.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But
I did. Yeah.
But that's the switch. And so the detriment to that is when we try to cover it up.
No, you're right.
And we try to pretend like, we're dismissive of the consequences of that. Like Pat said, hip hop started off as the black way, the black club for black musicians, DJs, and people in the neighborhood that could not go to discos because discos were not for black people. So it was the party alternative. You would have vacant buildings, dollar parties in somebody's basement, or you would be out in the park. You know what I'm saying? Block parties, this, that, and the other. This is how hip hop started. And one or two songs a couple songs made it to the radio. And then people started gauging because a lot of people like a lot of other things. Oh, this music won't last. This won't last. But there were certain people, members of certain communities that were heavily vested in the music industry and so forth that put money into it. What did they do? They made movies.
Hey.
You had Beat Street. You had Crush Groove. You had what was the one, Electric Boogaloo? What was that? Breaking. You had all these different movies now that were dedicated to creating a visual image, public image that actually pushed that into the genre, pushed that into the mainstream. But where it started, the origins of where it started as something that we wanted to do because we wanted to get together and have a good time, good, clean fun. Now, as you see,
it ain't clean no more.
If you watch Cooley High, it wasn't always good, clean fun.
There you go.
sometime a fight broke out and somebody's China cabinet got smashed.
Man, they
But
killed Coach Cheese, man. They killed Coach Cheese, bro.
I'm still mad about that shit.
Bruh.
Because Preach should have got there, god damn it. Anyway, but
Sound like we need to do another movie review.
Wait,
hey, bro.
no. That's a good idea. Cooley High would be a great movie breakdown.
I love that food. I love that movie, all parts of it, and it was based on a true story. That's the part.
My mom's took me and my brother, my oldest brother. She took us up to FAMU when we were 4 or 5. She took us up to FAMU. That's like I think about it back now. Like my mama took me to go see me and my brother see Cooley High. It's like,
man, my parents took me to see Dolomite when I was 4.
Because it was different. Like my parents was different. Like we watched real movies, like all that stuff. Like it was the real world. Now, before I forget what I was going to say, I've been very vocal and outspoken about, especially Florida hip hop for a while, and I've been called a hater a long time, and especially like somebody like a Rick Ross when it came out. Sonically, sound-wise, Rick Ross has one of the greatest sounds ever in hip hop, beat-wise, all that stuff. One of the greatest ever. But I never cared for his lyrics. I never cared for his presentation. I never cared for the character because I knew it was fake. And he would always be able to get away with it because the shit was jamming, because the beats was good. And it's just he was, to me, one of the larger examples of Florida music. I love Florida. I'm a Florida boy all day. I love Florida music, stuff like that. But there's a lot of Florida hip hop that came out that I was embarrassed about, and I'm still embarrassed about, and that we call it authentic Florida culture, and I hate that. I hate that we look at the worst of the worst of the worst, and we take it and then we elevate it up. But then those who come out who, like, there's a plenty good Florida artists who have positive music, positive messages, good imagery, all those things. And once again, because it's not the fun stuff, it's not the ratchet stuff, it's not all of that, we don't support it, we don't elevate it. Our cultural responsibility pretty much is on zero. But it's just like I've been embarrassed by a great majority of Florida hip hop for a while because I just didn't think it was good. I just didn't think it represented the state. Like, you made me think about it when you talked about Julio Fulio and them, because him and the Young and Nation, all that stuff there, and all of the fallout, but all of the music and stuff that was made. But it's just like I remember, you made me remember, like, I'm in conversations and we having, you know me, I love the debate. So we having one-on-one debate. I ain't going on nobody debate channel shows. I ain't doing all that. But you know, me being adamant about, look at the effects of it, though. Think about the effects of it. And everybody, man, we don't care about that. Now everybody's coming to me, calling me, man, what we supposed to do about the community? I told y'all this. I had these conversations with y'all. I argued with y'all about this 10, 15 years ago, and everybody wanted to brush it off. And now it's coming to knock on your front door. Now you want to call me?
It's coming for their babies.
There you go.
That's the part they weren't ready for, because that's not lack of foresight and seeing the big picture in terms of where this will go. And then we have, you know, so it's going to be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing, you know, for a lot of these different situations. Because listen, our problems, we're extreme as a people. Either we're going to talk the extremes of the Huxtables, or we're going to talk of the extremes of the downtrodden family living in the projects, or there's no happy middle ground in terms of the culture. There's no, like, and I tell people, man, I grew up in North Philly. North Philly has a reputation globally for the type of neighborhood it is, or the type of the part of town it is. But on my block, when I was growing up, there were doctors, electricians, teachers. You got to see them walk out of their houses, right? And this was prior to the crack era, which I don't think we pay enough attention to in terms of the foundational effects it's had on the disruption of black culture and so forth. But prior to that, you got to see that. So there were people who would teach you literally they would train us in the trade of electricity, like learning how to be electricians, learning how to be plumbers. We had auto shop in high school where they would teach you how to work on cars. Home ec, where they would teach you how to make a meal, things of that nature. All those things got taken out at the same time. This infusion of the crack cocaine era, this infusion of the music that promoted violence and crime, and this hard way of living. Like a lot of this stuff we're talking about is surface level, but we all know the deeper parts of this. Well, us three, we know the deeper dive in terms of the roots of this. And unfortunately, that's a conversation that we would have to build up to because everybody's not ready for. Because people want quick, fast solutions to problems that took years, that were created years in the making. So, we want, and I get it, black people are tired. We just want the shit to be over with. But
it's not how it works, though.
It never does. But if you want it and you realize, globally speaking, Black Americans are the enemies of the entire planet because we've consistently thrown monkey wrenches in terms of the status quo. Like other groups of people are no longer here on the planet because they haven't gone through half of what we've gone through. So these are all things weaponized. Now, the problem the biggest problem I have with this, and you and Pat was talking about this the other day, we all see it's weaponized, and why aren't we doing something about the weaponization of the shit against us?
Because most people benefiting from it.
And then all these Negroes are not benefiting from it. They're just comfortable in it.
That's their benefit.
You get them creature comforts.
Their benefit is the dopamine hit. Their benefit is to feel good.
You get them social media access.
Right.
They feel like they're literally connected to these people.
There you go. That's their benefit, PC. Don't be trying to step on their benefit. Don't articulate their benefit, then step on it. No.
Hey, listen, man. When I was in the hospital having surgeries and shit, you know what thing? Look, they gave me fentanyl. That I didn't consider that a damn benefit. But pain.
You gotta change your perspective then.
See, you trying to have higher thinking.
Oh man,
what's wrong with a Pat? You look like one of them people who your parents taught you how to read and stuff, and they cared for you, and they told you they love you.
Definitely channeling your inner uppity Negro, right?
Yeah, man. Who you is coming here with positive traits and stuff and healthy background? What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I know they offered me morphine. I didn't.
Oh, now you just bragging.
Yeah.
Hell no. I said
and morphine, and your parents love you.
I said, and then my insurance company paid for all my drugs. See, that's the thing, bro. That's the problem with this. It's being paid for.
You bragging now. So you being an adult.
It's been, my habit was being sponsored.
Absolutely.
He wanted to throw adulting in our face and doing stuff right. What's wrong? Come on,
man. Because he got an official corporate sponsor, official corporate supplier for his medications.
I'm talking about.
That's right.
They offered him Fenny and Mo, and he in here talking about I said no.
Who are you? Who are you to have a good job and have a good life and have good insurance? Who are you?
Hey, just say no.
You're supposed to be a unicorn, a superhero.
But the funny part about probably am because I didn't get hooked. But I think the funny part about this is the fact that, and I'm glad we can joke and laugh about certain parts because y'all know, man, like I take this, and I ain't going to just say me because I've had conversations with y'all where, y'all have poured your hearts out about the situations that y'all come in contact to because we are in touch with the community that everybody talks about but never really addresses or talks to. Like we not only do we live in proximity to where these young people are in the neighborhoods, and we're dealing with the single parent epidemic and things of that nature. We live in not just in proximity to that, we're in the middle of it. We see the fallout from talking to young cats. Like I saw young cats, hey, what's up, Unc? You know, I love you. Well, if you love me, you live different. Oh, Unc, but you know, I'm out here.
Yep.
What can I say? I can't say, hey, put the guns down, and then 2 blocks away, somebody gunning for him.
Right. No, really. But then we have to ask, we have to remind them your actions put you in this situation.
Yeah, but it's and what they say.
But yeah, you can't do that. Like realistically, you can't tell somebody to put the guns down when they live in a life where they have to have the guns to protect themselves, and the persons who tell them to put the guns down are not going to jump in front of the bullet and protect them.
Right. Like we talking about, man, you know, I'm tired of the cops in our neighborhood. You gonna go do their job? They got somebody tied up in the basement. You gonna go in the basement and get that person? You gonna like you know what I'm saying? You gonna be the one to impress upon the neighborhood community drug representative?
There's an organization in Baltimore. I saw a video not too long ago. And the organization in Baltimore got tired of the crime in their specific area, and they got out and got active in that community, and they say murders dropped 30 to 40%. Like maybe 50% murders in that area were cut in half because people got active in the community. Stop fucking talking and do something.
Well, you gotta have heart to be outside.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that's all it really took was people being out there. You know what? If it wasn't for Mr. Johnson over the street, I'd have murked you right now. But you know what, Mr. Johnson, you got that when you saved his life today. Thank Mr. Johnson. It's as simple as that. That's actually happened. You know what I'm saying? Man, boy, if such and such wasn't that, like I have literally seen young dudes that I've taught. They were in my classroom. They lived on my block. Walk around the corner. Hey, what's up, OG? What's up? Hey, yo, what's up? I'm staying out of trouble. Yeah, you know I'm staying out of trouble. They walk around the corner. Pat, pat. You see them coming back around the corner limping with blood coming from their leg. What happened? You know what I mean? I just had to take care of a little something. But I'm getting on. Fortunately, that young brother had straightened his life out. You know what I mean? The one I'm talking about before it took his life, and it almost did. But how many of them don't get to that point? And when we talk about the influence of the music, I can remember back in 1999, I was in a classroom with a student, and something happened, and he said, yo, Mr. Carl, you heard what Biggie said. You can't always load the clip to the top. You got to let those shells breathe. I was like, you can't even spell. But you in here talking about letting the shells breathe.
Hey, man.
In other words, don't overload the clip. And I'm looking at him because this dude is like 13, 14 years old, which by now is like the street veterans now. But in 99, they was just getting to that point. Here,
bruh, like, and it's crazy because, you know, Tallahassee has some of those elements, but not at large. And so I think it was a video I seen a little dude in Philly talking about, yeah, man, you know, we get our first gun when we 6. And I was like, dang. But it's like,
they're not lying. They have that.
I know they're not. But because I see the direct, and I hate when people try to act like they don't see it. We see the direct negative impact that hip hop, these unicorns of superheroes, male and female, because from both sides, the negativity in hip hop, we can see its impact on our youth and our community, and we can see its impact on older people. Listen,
all you gotta do is watch BET.
Go outside. Go to your local corner store.
But what I'm saying is, like that, this culture has morphed into more than just music.
Yeah,
it's an art form that's resold to us over and over again, and it's sold to us in a way where the programming is great because you got the reality TV shows. The women are all into that. Real Wives of Atlanta, the Real Wild Housewives of this.
Like baddies, because they like to show they be fighting.
Ex-wives of the NFL, football, all that stuff, right? All got the same script, right? They gave it to a black woman, and they made, and so like we said before, They'll give it to one. She would be the female version of Jim Jones. They give it to her. She poisoned the community with it, but she got rich off of it. Same one that wrote Scandal. And let's not leave out Shaq's wife, for playing parts in these two. And then you have the other cats that are not black, but promote black content. And so many times, like, you don't understand how things get imprinted onto your mind. And when you watch something, like right now, people are visually being imprinted by Us Street right now. If we consistently have the same messages, they consistently see us, and that thing sparks in their mind. Okay, these brothers are talking about A, B, and C. I can relate to that. But the same thing happens with the programming on other things. So you talking about Tubi movies and things of that nature. They're all call them hood classics now.
Tubi is the platform for the hood movies and black, and when we talk about a cultural effect, that I will say it grew out of, it's part of the hip hop culture. Like what type of movies black people make? Movies about everybody want to make their version of Belly or Shotters. Everybody trying to recreate Belly and Shotters, or they scamming, or they somebody getting cheated on, or something like that.
Yeah.
Black people have like 4 genres of movies, and they're all negative.
Man, listen. I got family in jail right now.
It just seemed like just 4, like the hood movie, the pimp movie,
which is a hood movie.
Don't forget the political scandals.
That and the cheat movie, the getting cheated on movies.
The cheated movie is a hood movie.
It's different categories of hood. Stop trying to be technical, man.
All nigga shit. So like, I got family in jail, right? And then I had like one of my nephews was doing like music videos, right? He was shooting music videos, and like, these cats out here got guns everywhere. This thing, the other. Come to find out, these cats are waving loaded guns in the video. Like, they were supposed to be unloaded before but they loaded guns. And then like, some of these cats are getting actually shot at their video shooting. Like, this shit is out of control. So when you have somebody like Jim Jones always trying to, like, and I ain't just talking about, but he was just happened to be on the interview.
Right.
That happened to consistently move the goalpost to make it acceptable. What you're really saying is we don't have no fucking standards.
We don't.
We can get paid off of it, make music that pop that people can vibe to. We don't care about the detriment of what that is. And that type of thinking is the reason why we have to spend so much time on it. I'm glad we had other conversations earlier this week, is because if we don't address this shit, we're going to be having this conversation 20 years from now. Yeah. We had it 10 years ago. We're going to be having it 20 years from now if we don't address this shit, because we have more important things that could be addressed, but we got to get past this first.
We have to grow up. Yeah, you're right. We got to grow up, and if it make us feel good, we're going to rock with it. And I hate it's more like, well, we'll deal with the consequences later, but now you're dealing with the consequences, and then you don't want to deal with the consequences. And so it never gets solved. We never grow up. And there's always an excuse or explanation for why the debauchery can continue, but then you don't like the outcomes. Well, and then you don't like the youth, but you ain't raising the youth. The hip hop raising the youth.
But they like to live in a world where when we tell them this now, it's like, get out of here. We ain't trying to hear that. And then when it happens to them, you brothers come to us, brothers. How can we fix this? How can we solve this?
No, they send you emails asking you to take over their calls, and I got this, and I want to do this, and I want to know if you could be the head of this. No, we cannot. And we've been told y'all, and we've been gave you solutions and all types of stuff to get active. Then listen, and now it's knocking on your door, and now you want us to solve your problem. No, we too busy solving our own problems, and we already gave you the information.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. So that horse is dead. You see, we got to do better. We got to grow up. We do have a cultural responsibility, and the more we neglect our responsibility, the worse it gets. But understood that we are in the insane place right now, so it might not get better. Well, we know it's not going to get better at large, but those of us, the pockets of us who give a damn, keep giving a damn. So that's how we do it.
Can I say one thing before we get into the? 'Cause I know where you're about to go. Can I just say one thing
Do your
real
thing.
quick? So, I just wanted to say thank you to both you and Patrick for being extremely supportive over the last several weeks. It's been, rough times for me. So I appreciate y'all's support, especially in regards to, the loss of our family matriarch. We lost my aunt this past week, and you brothers have been extremely supportive. And I just wanted to thank you two brothers and give you your flowers for, always being supportive and being real brothers, man. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate, all the support you've given me through this time that helps me to have the strength to, to be the patriarch of my family, for which, it's a role that I'm consistently stepping into. But I do appreciate you, brothers, and I thank you for that. And I thank everybody out there that's ever had, well wishes for us, knowing that we're human and we go through things too. So I definitely wanted to just say that real quick before we get off the air.
Man, appreciate you. Love you too. Love you too, man. Yeah. Yeah. Good to hold some moment. Nah, but that's what homies do, babe. If we fuck with you, we fuck with you.
Indeed.
There it is, man. FatLifeStation.com. And saying that, make sure you check it out. If you don't, you support white supremacy. So make sure you go check out FatLifeStation.com, 2 p.m. every Friday. Professor Carl Tone Jones is dropping gems all day on your forehead. All right, VPAX.org. Look, you don't have to complain about not having access to Black history information. And Pat even do a lot of explaining of the stuff to you. VPAX.org. Go learn. And after that, if you wanted a video format on the shows, on the shoulders1.com. The three of us have platforms where you can indulge in and be enriched and learn and come out empowered. So check us out. Links in the description. Do all that. Thank you to me, Kim. Thank you to all of the channel members, everybody who subscribed to the channel. Thank you to everybody who are the new channel members. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who support my homies. One of the main reasons why they up here, because I want to make sure that they get their shine. So thank you to everybody who support my homies, and thank you to everybody who continue to support On the Shoulders of Giants. We just passed 75K subs, so we out here. So come on, we out here, we growing and glowing. So YouTube just stop shadow banning with that bullshit, YouTube though, but we out here. So with that being said, we love y'all and we catch y'all next Friday. Peace out.